to be under the bright lights. I want to be on the Broadway stage.
Tiger Rag Radio is on now.
Friday will be a big day on LSU's campus. Of course, it's opening day at 2 o'clock. And I was thinking for a second, I'm like, the weather's not that bad. They can possibly move that game at night. And then I forgot, wait a minute, no, they can't. Because one of the biggest sporting events on LSU's campus will take place Friday night, and that is number 2 LSU and number 1 Oklahoma in gymnastics. Mike Smith is the voice of the LSU gymnastics team. He does the terrific job on the public address announcing for the LSU gymnastics. Mike, how long have you been doing it now?
Well, 31 years.
31 years. Wow.
It doesn't get any bigger than Friday night.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
You bumped baseball, Mike. Hats off to you.
Right? We've been working for a long time. And we're excited about that. But you know what? We're expecting a beyond record crowd, and the buzz for the program is at an all-time high, and we're just excited to be able to showcase it in such a great venue in front of what we believe are the best fans in the country.
I would imagine if you wish the meet would start like in 5 minutes, right? I mean, you got to be that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, I was driving near the LSU campus about 2 hours ago, and my car was wanting to pull off on Dalrymple and just and head in that direction. We were fired up and ready to go.
Hey, Mike, this is Todd. We're conditioned, especially by Jay Clark, in the midst of the SEC schedule, in the midst of the season, it's not really important how you go in the head-to-head competition. A win is not like in other sports. It's more important how you score, how you do. Is that like all bets off for this week now with number 1 Oklahoma and number 2 LSU? Do they want to win the meet?
Yeah, they absolutely want to win. And listen, there's another practical reason. In addition to the bragging rights, the number 1 ranking on the line, this is also a very mental sport, and you can get in the head of your opponent fairly easily. And of course, we know what happens on the balance beam if you're not totally focused on the job at hand. And so the other practical matter is that it's really for the regular season SEC crown. And so, that therein lies a lot of bragging rights, and it's very prestigious, because it's an opportunity for these student athletes to win an award that will stay with them for a lifetime. And what they look to be the first in a series of potential awards that they can win, throughout the season. Of course, the next step after that being the SEC championships, which are in Birmingham later in March, and then beyond the NCAA tournament after that.
Is Haley Bryant almost back to full strength yet?
I think so. I think she's getting incredibly close. It's a really smart play by the coaching staff to bring her along slowly. Obviously, she's in her final year of eligibility, and we know, because she's the reigning all-around national champion, what she brings to the table in talent. The question is, as she's explained to me personally on many occasions, she and Libby Dunn as well, they said, we're old ladies. We've been doing this since we were 5 years old, and now, of course, they're in their early to mid-20s, and the body is starting to say, maybe I've had enough of gymnastics. And so you have to make sure to bring them along at the right speed. And kudos to the coaching staff. I think they've done the smart thing to have Haley Bryant, ready to be greater later.
Talking with Mike Smith, he is the voice of LSU gymnastics. So there is a bit of a passing of the torch this season. I'm sure you've recognized it with obviously Haley Bryant in her final year, but Kaylin Chio has been, you've seen a lot of great freshmen come into this program, Mike. Where would you rate her as far as what she's been able to do so far this freshman campaign?
Top 3, from what I've seen, and in the 31 years that I've been around, and there have been some terrific freshmen, and we could rattle off certainly a list and make a case for many of them. But I think among that top echelon of incoming freshmen, she's the most polished, the most practiced, her training has been at such an elite level, and you can tell it by the way that she performs her routines. And that's the key difference, guys. It's a difference between an athlete that is poised to be a national champion and follow in the footsteps of many of the greats. It's because they perform the routines. They just don't do the routines. And that's, that takes years and years of practice and excellent coaching at the youth level through the elite level. And that's what we have in Kaylin Shio. And she's going to be special. And, we're going to hold on and enjoy this ride for as long as we can.
Hi, I'm Mike Munderland, and we're here to smash the capital city's trash.
Smash My Trash is a revolutionary compactor for large dumpsters, sometimes reducing the volume of waste by up to 70%. This means fewer hauls per month and big savings for your business. Fewer hauls and compacted waste will also result in a positive impact on our community and our environment by taking up less space in our local landfill sites. Schedule your company's free demo today. Call 225-497-0101.
Well, Mike, head-to-head, how does the matchup look for LSU? Where do they have an advantage? Where does Oklahoma have an advantage? And ultimately, who's going to prevail?
Well, I think first off, LSU has a tremendous, seniority advantage. A lot of experience on this team, reigning national champions. Let's not forget about the crazy crowd that we're going to have. I'm hearing numbers that could be approaching and exceeding 14,000. We're talking about one of the largest crowds to ever, for any sport, for any reason, be in the PMAC on Friday. All that's going for LSU and LSU's direction. Oklahoma has a bevy of talented gymnasts. They have two of the best in the world in particular that are also seniors. But their Achilles heel this season, I think, is going to be the youth movement. They are reloading. They have an enormous number of freshmen that you'll see compete on Friday night. They're getting about half of their routines from freshmen. How do those young gymnasts in that environment, the first time they would have been in an environment like this, how do they hold up? How do they compete? I think that's going to tell the tale on Friday night, and I'm excited to watch it. Listen, you may have seen my tweet, but LSU is 8-0 all time in the PMAC in gymnastics with crowds in excess of 13,000. There's a reason for that. There's a mojo that they give. This crowd gives to the gymnasts that's really incredible. So they're undefeated all time in 13,000 plus, but more importantly, the scoring average is about a 197.9, and the margin of victory over those 8 opponents is over 1 whole point. So I'm going LSU. I'm going LSU actually comfortably. I think probably in the neighborhood of about 3 to 3.5 tenths, which, to put it in football language, is probably a touchdown, extra point, and a field goal.
Well, let me ask you this.
3.5 tenths blowout.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Mike. You're obviously, you don't have to be bipartisan. So what are you going to do to ignite that crowd on Friday night?
You know what? I think I'm not sure that I'm going to have to do a whole lot, to be honest. I think, first of all, you got an 8 o'clock first vault on a Friday night. I think the students are going to come in, let's just say, well lubricated, and we're going to have a record number of students. So we already are hearing tales about campouts that are happening. Heck, those are things that I did back in the early 1990s for Shaq and Chris Jackson when we played Duke and Arizona in basketball. We're talking about doing that in gymnastics now, guys. What is this world we're living in? This is amazing.
But I'm not going to let you. You got to have something in your bag of tricks that's going to help.
I absolutely do. I just can't tell you what it is, because if I do, then what's going to happen is the other team is going to let the officiating crew know about it, and they're going to come to me beforehand. So
just tell us off the record on live radio, off the record, live radio. Hey, Mike, how many times has the number one gymnastics team come to LSU?
It's my understanding this will be the third time, that we've had a 1-2 matchup for gymnastics. And, LSU's prevailed in a couple of those. I think the last one we had, Florida nipped us by a tenth. But seriously, this is the premier matchup this week.
So Florida was number one in the previous? Excuse me.
Yeah, that's
right.
Florida did. They nipped us by a tenth before. and then we've had a couple of wins
Right.
as number one in the past. But this is going to be a special rivalry, and let's not lose sight of the fact that this is OU's first SEC gymnastics
Right.
meet in Baton Rouge. And this is going to be the start, I think, of an amazing home and home. It's going to be a premier matchup each and every season. And I think the Tigers are going to have a little something for them on Friday night.
Joining the Army is more than a chance to serve your country. It's also a great career move.
All my personal experience, I've been able to build upon that so that I could achieve construction management and training, go for a project manager planner. So when I get out of the military, I'm able to pursue a career in construction management.
Get the experience you need through service in the United States Army.
Mike, I got to get your take. We'll drift a little bit off topic on the scoring this year. What's been the issue here with the lack of tens? Well, what's going on?
Well, it's an intentional effort to try to bring up the bottom and the middle of the pack in gymnastics. Really, it's been a concerted effort to try and tighten up the outcome of meets. And I saw a statistic actually after week 5 where a study had been done that year over year at the same week 5 mark, teams on the average were down 0.3. And as we just talked about, that's a huge margin. But I'm like Jay Clark. I believe that what's happening here is it's damaging the brand of the sport. And we need to make sure that we don't do that because we've come so far.
Yeah.
And and I think what we're seeing is that we're seeing an effort, to kind of bring everything back to the middle and bring the middle back, bring the lower, performing teams up to the top. And you can't help it if you have a school, that's great at recruiting and has a lot of resources and is going out to fight for championships. Those are the teams that are going to throw more difficulty in
Right.
each routine. And I think that's something that we need to watch and reward. Down 0.3 after week 5, and then there only been 3 tens all season.
Wow,
going
that's
into this
amazing.
coming week. And this time last year we had 25.
Wow.
Mike, what?
So there has been a concerted effort.
Mike, yeah, I'm gonna switch gears. Right, I know we're running out of time, but what makes Jay Clark one of the greatest coaches in the game right now?
His people skills. I mean, he there's nobody better in a living room talking to parents about why their student athletes should consider LSU. There's just nobody better.
Yeah.
And he's able to sell it. He's able to sell the vision. And then he's able to and this is what sets him apart, he's able to deliver it in the gym with 30 years of experience of getting it right. Let's not forget that this man was a part of 9 national championships in some capacity at the University of Georgia. He knows what he's doing, and it shows. And in the moment he stepped on campus, I'll tell you this very quickly, the very first meeting I ever had with Jay Clark, he asked me, and he pointed, and we were in the PMAC, and he said, "Why can't we sell this place out?"
Yeah.
And we set upon, and he asked me to help him develop a 5-year plan to, in effect, sell 5,000 season tickets and sell the place out. And with his vision, we did it in 3 years.
Impressive. I was watching the meet last week, and they were huddling after one of the rotations, and it caught my eye that every girl in that huddle was staring at him in the eyes. I mean, there was nobody like looking down at their feet or looking up in the crowd. It was all eyes on him, and the way he commanded that huddle, I mean, I felt it just watching it on TV, and that gives you a sense of how well he is you're right, the people skills that he has and the way he's able to communicate with the girls on his team. Mike, it should be fun on Friday night. Don't forget the alumni will be there, so you got to also you're going to have to also announce all those former gymnasts there as well.
We'll take care of them. We'll make them feel right at home as always, and we're looking forward to having a good 14,000 plus in the building on Friday and a big Tiger win.
Quite a lineup of events in February from your friends at the East Baton Rouge Library. Always a hit, Mid-City Microcon returns on February 8th. Grab your bestie on February 14th for Movies on the Plaza, Galentine's Edition. The library also welcomes Poet Laureate Allison Pellegrin and author Robert Penn this month. For more details about these events and others, visit ebrpl.com. That's ebrpl.com.